Where are my comments? Where are the comments? Hi Chloe, picture. Recording, overlays, mic, camera, mic. Okay. Camera, okay. Source, scene, profile, edit. If you're there, hello everyone. I'm looking for oh, there it is, way over here. Window, comments, and reactions. That's what I'm looking. There we go. Hi, Darcy. Now, how can I zoom that so it's not so big? I can see, hey, Kay. Hi, Brenda. Hi, Darcy. There we go. Hi, Linda. I have been running. Solid. Volume low. That's right here. How's that? Better? Hi, Marion. I'm turning the volume up. Are we better? It's not supposed to be on the laptop. It's supposed to be on the one I picked. Can you guys hear me okay? I'll wait. Testing, 1, 2, 3, testing. Oh, okay, good. So yeah, I am back. Boy, that's really bright now. Let me turn these down a little bit. So it's not quite so bad. There we go. That's better. So how are you? Volume's fine. You are looking at me from my brand new camera. I went and got one, guys. I saw something I have never seen before. I really need to do something about these comments so I can read them. Oh, that's better. Just like that. I saw something I'd never seen before, and I thought maybe it will work. Lisa had said, I'm not using the camera the way I intended it. So really what I needed was hi Lisa. No, that's not Lisa, that's OM. Sorry. Anyway, I needed a webcam. And I think what I bought is going to work really well for a webcam. How does this look, besides being kind of cluttered? I didn't have time to set it up. I just got home like an hour ago. So I've been running. But does it look okay? Supposedly this will stream in video in 4K. It was not nearly as much as the other cameras I was looking at. And yeah, that little stick thing sticking up above my screen, that's the actual camera. It's on a tripod. It's behind my screen. So we're going to try it and see how it works. That's what I got. It's called a DJI Osmo Pocket 3. So you can't really see it. It's a tiny little thing, but it makes a really nice webcam. I like it. Hi, Lisa. We were just talking about you. You said get a camera that does what I wanted to do for the job that it's doing, and I did. I got this DJI Pocket 3 Osmo camera. It makes an excellent webcam, and I just got home with it about an hour ago and set it up, so it's real quick and dirty. We'll have to play with it some more. I'm using my own mic. It comes with another mic. It comes with all kinds of stuff. I'll be playing with this for the next week, sure. Anyway, because I could not get my iPhone to work the way I wanted it to with the overhead cams, like, you know, this guy here too. So now I can do that cam. If I tilt my screen, I can do that cam. Oh, that's my phone. And I got the new cam. So we're going to try this out. Not as expensive as I thought. So pretty cool. And I did not have to dip into any kind of savings or anything to get it. Credit card, nothing like that. I pay cash. So super cool. I'm excited. Anyway, we're going to make my stew. And there we go. It says drain and rinse the beans and corn. I've already done that. Here's my... I'm going to leave it right here. Well, no, I'll show you. I'm going to spill those tomatoes. I don't need that, or that, or that, or that. Now it looks really dark because I turned the lights down. A little bit better. This overhead shot is always bugging me. We'll figure it out. But these are my kidney beans. They're already drained. My corn's already drained. My green chilies. It says to use about a cup of potatoes. I know I got more than a cup. We'll see if I need all these. That's Yukon Gold. I got my onions already cut up. So it says dice the onion, add it to a large soup pot or a Dutch oven. So I'm going to just toss those in there and put this back up here. We're slowly getting there. And I'm going to add just a splash of veggie broth to start simmering these onions in. And there we go. Put them on medium low for now. So simmer the onions over medium low heat until softened. I cut these up kind of big. I want all my chunks in the stew. Thank you, and I appreciate that. Yeah, the likes really help on YouTube. Of course, they help for the algorithm, so they show the people who are looking for me the next video, but this is a private video, so it doesn't really matter. But thank you anyway, I appreciate it. Yeah, I cut my onions up. I got a really big chop. If I took these lights toward the thing, it's going to make me really blown out. Yeah, now I'm blown out. I'll have to work on this. But anyway, yeah, you see how big the chunks are. Everything in the stew is going to be cut in a large chop. The potatoes, the onions, the squash. Red onions to be really strong. The way I heard it, red onions are meant to be like salad onions because they do have a strong flavor. My guru on YouTube for Mexican cooking, Rick Bayless, he says to always rinse your diced white onions under water, and that'll take care of some of that really strong bite they have. One thing I don't know about, that's a brand new camera. I did charge it. I don't know what kind of battery life I have on it. And this is on battery. So this one might go. If it goes, I apologize. Recipe says to chop the onion small. Oh yeah, I see that. Dice small. I like them big. You can dice them small. I don't know why I wrote that. Maybe I changed my mind since I came out with this recipe. That was, I don't have a date. It's an older recipe. Anyway. This is not in the cookbook, Marion? Well, maybe it should be in the next one. It is. It's on page 84. Oh, it doesn't say to chop them small in the cookbook. One red onion, period. Yeah. Dice the onion, add it to a large soup. So it's on page 84 of the cookbook. And we're simmering already. It says add some garlic next. I cheat. I use the jarred stuff. Make sure you don't get it in oil. I've done that before. Got home and went, oops. And we want 2 or 3 cloves. So for me, that's like 2 or 3 teaspoons. I love garlic. So how was your day? Mine was good until I saw this camera on YouTube and I'm like, what is that? Could that possibly work? And then I spent the next 2 hours going down the rabbit hole of this camera. All my favorite camera YouTube geeks loved it, so I thought, can't be that bad. The more I researched, the more I liked it. Then I thought, can I actually go to Best Buy and get it and be home and set it up in time for the demo? That was my challenge to myself, and I did. I made it. We're doing it. I don't have it set up, but it will set up and work so that the camera will follow me around the room. And yes, this is the same coffee from this morning. It's cold now. It's my iced coffee now. So it's not a picture taking camera, it's a video camera. It's a vlogging camera. We're doing vlogs with a V, which basically means videotaping yourself. So I can take this walking with me. One teaspoon. 2. Call that good. You never want to add your garlic too early. It'll burn. It turns really bitter. Bitter garlic tastes nasty. Add the chili. This is a 7-ounce can of just regular Ortega grocery store canned Hatch green chili. It's probably not even Hatch. In other words, it's very, very mild. On a Rhonda meter, she likes the whole green chilies better. but she can tolerate this stuff. Figure out a way to get the lighting situated between this top down and the front view without blowing anything out. Next it says to add the potatoes. I think I'm going to start with about half of these, and again you can see what size. I cut these up kind of chunky like the onions. The recipe says a cup. I think I'll start with about half. If the pan's too dry, go ahead and add some more water, add some more broth. This is fine just the way it is. I'm going to turn it down to low. And I'm going to move this over here, because next I need to chop up my squash. Get a cutting board. Lake Wabash squash. You want a good sharp knife. I brought my favorite knife sharpener. I hold it on the edge of my table just like this and just pull this through. You can also do it with a knife. Hold it, blade up, be very careful, and you can sharpen it this way too. And this is one of those Amazon sharpeners. It's worked really well for me. They're truly not a sharpener. They're more of a get the edge back. But I'm going to start with cutting off the end right here. Squash are hard to cut, so be very careful. Make sure your cutting board is not going to go anywhere. I happen to have here we go. This is that drawer stuff. Works really well for keeping stuff glued to your counter. Now, it's not going to go anywhere. So there's one end. I'm also going to separate the bulb, the fat end, from the neck, the skinny end. Two pieces will be a lot easier to peel than one giant piece. Okay, and I want to cut off the butt end too. The bulb end is where all the seeds are. So you get your peeler. This is the unpleasant part, peeling this thing. You can use your knife. You can use a peeler, whatever works easiest for you. This is not the best peeler for this type of job. I saw another one on YouTube, Amazon. It looks like a cheese slicer. That would probably be better. paper and all. I'll be at this for a little bit. If you guys want to ask me anything, laugh at me, make fun of me, not too bad. Be careful with your peelers too. I've gotten cut with them also. Doesn't have to be perfect. Like I said, most of the meat of the squash will be in the neck. That looks really red compared to what I see. I see very orange. So I don't know how accurate these colors are, Marion, but of course I have to drop one on the floor every time. That's a necessity. Get my head out of the way. I hate seeing videos of me doing this from overhead and my big old fat head in the way. This reminds me of the growing bald spot I have up there. I don't like to think about. Like I said, if it's faster for you to use a knife, do that. I tend to go a little bit too crazy with the knife. I lose a lot of the meat. I call it meat. You know what I mean. Looks pretty good. So I'm going to start with this, dice this up. And then we'll do that bulb next. So again, we want about the same size chunks. Get it out of there. Come on. As close as you can get anyway. I tried using my 7-in-1 food chopper. It doesn't do so good. Not with squash. Or sweet potatoes. And if you want your chunks smaller, feel free to chop them as big or as little as you like. I just try to keep everything about the same size. Come on. I'm not sure if I'm to the point where we actually add it to the pot. Let me check that real quick. I still got plenty of water in here. That's fine. I can read some comments too. It looks orange to you, Darcy? Yeah, it is. Okay, it says stir squash into the stew and add the broth, so we're fine to add this in. Some of these chunks are kind of big. Like I said, if you want to cut them down a little bit more. Now this is going to take a while to cook, so I don't know how long we'll go with the live stream. If any of you want that knife sharpener, I'll try to find a link for tomorrow morning. It wasn't that expensive. It was like $10 on Amazon. And again, it's worked very well. Now if you want to cut this, when you cut it in half, I'm not sure if it'll be easier to peel like this or not, but you can see all of your seeds are in the bulb. And by the time you cut the seeds out, there's really not a whole lot left. Of course, I'm going to make a mess. It's a given. Kind of reminds me of a pumpkin, carving a pumpkin for Halloween. Getting all the guts out. It is a squash, so makes sense. I'm going to stop right there before I have seeds all over the place. Now I know you could eat pumpkin seeds. I think they're called pepitas in Spanish. I don't know if you can eat squash seeds or not. And I'm just going to use my knife. That'll make easy, quick peeling of this. Get my head out of the way. Do you guys know, can you eat squash seeds? Yeah, the color is really, really... Here, let me fix that. Here we go. That's a little better. Of course, I'll be all washed out when I put the camera back around, but it's okay. So you can see when you get done, there's not a whole lot left. I know some people throw this part away. It's not worth the trouble. And I've already got a lot of squash in there. Trying to keep my head out of the way. There, call it good. Trying to speed this up. Don't go so fast so that you hurt yourself. That's the important part. If you've never worked with butternut squash, you'll find out. There go more seeds on my floor. All right. One more. One more. There. We're done. I think I'll just set this whole thing over here. All right. Let me get the squash seeds off of my hand. And we can get back to what we were doing. Perfect. Yeah, now I'm all washed out. There we go. So we got our squash, so we're going to add our broth. 2 cups. I still have all my fingers. Yes, I do. I'm sure I've shown you guys this before. Maybe you know. When you pour broth into your measuring cup, you would think you keep the spigot close. It'll splash, it'll gurgle, it'll go everywhere. Turn it away from the cup. See how it's opposite? It pours a whole lot smoother. Perfect. 2 cups. Get the head out of the shot. Turn my heat up. Let's see. I'm going to go through some comments real quick. Cold coffee is good. Yes. Stinging nettle tea. That sounds like you, Ruth. Why slicers? Yeah, get a peeler that'll work for you if you have to do a lot of butternut squash. Oh, nice. They sell it in the cubed in the freezer department. So if you can find cubed butternut squash already. Linda likes zucchini, not a fan of squash. So Brenda says her grandkids gave her a dicer, slicer. It dices, it slices. The old Ronco commercials. I'm showing my age. Gave me a dicer, slicer, grater attachment for my KitchenAid stand mixer. It says it does squash and sweet potatoes and the dicer. I'll try it and see. All right, let us know, Brenda. Di's cheated. Oh, hi, Di. Welcome. She's cheated and used the frozen cube squash a few times. Works just fine. I asked Google what a butternut squash weighed and used that amount of frozen cubed. This was about a 2.75 pound squash when I measured it at the store.
Someone is detected at your front door.
Marion doesn't have the patience for all that peeling and chopping. I'll have to check out the slicer grater attachment for my KitchenAid stand mixer. Sounds like it would be a good addition. So you can eat roasted squash seeds. There you go. Di likes to wash her squash seeds and then put them on a tray in low heat oven until they're dried all the way through and crunchy. Do they taste like pumpkin seeds? Okay, so we got our squash in here. Next on the menu, the instructions. Add your corn and beans and stir it in. So there's our beans. I did rinse those beans, by the way. There's our corn. We've got all three of our sisters in there. If you notice, there's been no seasoning at all. No salt, no pepper, no nothing. It's real pretty right now too. Lots of color, if the white actually gives you true color like it's supposed to. All right. Add your tomatoes and then the water. These tomatoes are full. I'm dripping. There we go. Sorry I had to do that, but I was dripping tomato juice everywhere. Mama will not be happy with me.
Someone has detected at the front door.
Okay, and then 2 cups of water. And nowhere in my instructions, I just noticed, unless I skipped over it, drain and rinse the beans and corn, dice the onion, add it to a large soup pot or Dutch oven, simmer the onion over medium-low heat until softened, add the minced garlic, add the diced chili, add your diced potatoes, add water or broth if needed, peel the squash, dice into the same size cubes you used for the potatoes, stir the squash into the stew, add the broth, add the drained corn and the beans, add the tomatoes, 2 cups of water, bring to a low boil, then cover and reduce the heat to simmer. Nowhere does it talk about the other seasonings. There's not that many, but there's some onion garlic powder here, so I need to fix that. And I got some Mexican oregano here. I just have to make a mess. I have to. So yeah, I got to fix that blog post. I'm not sure if I tell you in the cookbook or not. But now we have our seasonings in, and that's all the seasonings we have. If you want salt, let it cook for a while. I think I say half an hour. "45 minutes, half hour, until the squash or the vegetables, the potatoes mainly, are tender. Then you can season with a little salt and pepper if you want to. If you want to garnish it with parsley or cilantro, you can. Let's see what the cookbook says. Dice the onion, add the simmer over. The cookbook actually has a teaspoon of cumin. Oh boy, I've got all kinds of discrepancies here. Oh, there is a teaspoon of cumin. I missed that. Alright, so there's no cumin in this. It'll still be good. Rhonda doesn't like cumin anyway. But the next thing we do is just heat this up to, I'm going to turn it on high. It won't boil, that's really full. When it comes to a boil though, turn it down and cover it and let it simmer for about a half an hour, 45 minutes. Aldi sells frozen cubed butternut squash at a good price. But is it fresh? That's what I would worry about. Brenda's Slicer Dicer thing has good reviews on Amazon, and there are YouTube videos of people using it. I've only done zucchini cubes in a dicer. Yeah, my cookbook's got the cumin. It doesn't tell you when to add it though. We looked in that cookbook so long. Marion, you did too, I think. And we never caught any of my little omissions. That's okay. It's a good stew. It's very fresh. The potatoes will help break down and thicken this. And I'm just happy that my cameras are still working. That one's still working. It's thinking about coming to a boil. And the new one's still working. So, yay. This is a Three Sisters soup, guys. I did not make this ahead of time, so I don't have any to show you. Other than what you see right here. But it is good. It's basically a squash soup with beans and corn, tomatoes, and like I said, the potatoes help to thicken it. And the onions and garlic are for flavoring and aromatics. Are my camera batteries rechargeable? They are, Brenda. That's what this thing is for. So that comes with, I plug in my cable, and I can put 3 of those little tiny batteries in here at a time and recharge them that way. So yes, they are rechargeable. They have to be, because these are specific batteries just for that camera. They would be way too expensive to have to buy new batteries every single time. When would I say to add the spice? You know, I apologize. I'll have to fix that. I can't fix the cookbook, but I can fix the blog post. I usually add my spices like cumin, oregano, onion, garlic powder at the very beginning when you're sauteing your onions. That way the onions and that little bit of broth and all that stuff get that oniony, garlicky flavor. So I like to toast my spices before I start really cooking with broth and stuff like that. And then at the end, I'll taste it and I'll season it with salt and pepper as I need to. So Kay asked Google how much 2 cups of butternut squash weighed, and they told me 10 ounces. And I had, what, 16 is a pound, 32 is 2 pounds. I had a lot of squash in here. The amounts you use really can be up to you. I would try to keep the Three Sisters proportionate to each other. The same amount of beans, same amount of corn, same amount of squash. If you have more squash, it's not going to hurt anything. If you want to add some more potatoes, less tomatoes, less squash, it's all going to be good. What I'm saying is feel free to adjust to what you have on hand. Don't worry about following it exactly. This is not one of those recipes you have to follow exactly. It'll come out good no matter what you do. It's a soup, right? So I don't have any salt and pepper down here with me. If I did, I would definitely season it. I'll take a look. There's my other spoon. Just want to try the broth. A little bit of corn. Oh, that's good. It'll be better the longer it cooks and all those flavors come together. The first thing I got though was a little bit of the acidity from tomatoes and the chilies, and I like that. Yeah, it's going to take a while for that squash to soften. You're right, Linda. So basically we're done with the recipe. If you're not serving it with anything else, what's the serving size? You know, people ask me that all the time. Why don't you have nutritional information on your blog, serving sizes and all that stuff? They get that information on blogs with the nutritional charts from software, and they're all different. That's why I don't do it. It's so subjective to the person who's actually doing it, making it. Their corn they use might be different than the corn I use. Their sodium amount in the corn might be different. I used low sodium beans. Maybe they use full sodium beans. Maybe they use frozen corn. It's so subjective. Now, to me, as far as the serving size, I start with a bowl of soup. I don't know how else to describe it. You can see that compared for size. I lost my camera, guys. That camera's gone. So we're stuck with my new one. The battery's 45 minutes. That's what I thought. Alright. That would be a serving size for me. One bowl of chili, of soup, something like that. It's a big bowl, so maybe like not all the way to the top, right? Not all the way up here. A little over a cup, maybe. But the calorie density in this, sorry, camera. The calorie density in this is so low. Squash, the calorie density is very low. Corn, it's low. Beans, they're getting up there a little bit, but it's still under that, what was it, 650 calories per pound is like the cutoff point. I don't think eating 2 bowls of this is going to hurt you if you want to eat 2 bowls of this. It's looking good. I've made it before, minus the cumin. Your family don't like it either. It's a very good stew. Thank you, Di. Can you make it in the Instapot? Yeah, you could. I would saute the onions with the saute feature on the Instapot. A little bit of broth. Add the garlic. And then I would turn off the Instapot, add all of your water and your broth, the squash, the beans, the corn, the potatoes. Save the tomatoes. Add the lid, seasonings too. Add the lid, high pressure. You could probably do 10 minutes. I'm guessing. 10 minutes, 15 minutes. I don't think it would take 15 minutes. When I make my cheese sauce, potatoes and carrots soften in 7 minutes with 1 cup of water. So 7 to 10 minutes. Open the lid. Of course, let it naturally vent. I don't ever release the vent prematurely, the steam. I like to let that steam come out naturally. It cooks a little bit longer that way. The steam is still cooking it as it's venting, right? Then add your tomatoes last. They don't really need to cook. And the soup will be hot enough that when you stir those tomatoes in, it'll cook them. If you add your tomatoes, especially at the bottom, like right after the onions, your tomatoes and then your squash and your potatoes and your beans and your corn, those tomatoes are on the bottom, they'll scorch badly. And you'll have to scrape and scrape and scrape your Instant Pot to get it clean. So add your tomatoes either last or the very last thing to go in if you want to cook them before you add your lid. Make sure they're here. I can't show you, the camera died. In the center and not around the edges, not touching the sides. I think that'll work fine. This is coming to a boil. I'm going to turn it down a little bit to medium. I'm going to put on my lid and let that cook. I think eating the way we do, there is no real limit. It's till you're satisfied. Yes, I agree with that completely, but there are exceptions, like, right? You can't eat avocados until you're full. That would be way too many calories. So there are certain things you have to be careful of. For freezing, Kay, I like those plastic deli containers. I've showed you guys before. You can buy them in bulk on Amazon. They come in a package. You got 32 ounce, you got 16 ounce, and you got 8 ounce. You get all 3 of them, like 10 each, 20 each in a bundle, and they're dirt cheap. You could store this soup in those big 32 ounces. For a single serving, I would use the 16 ounces. And they stack really nice in your freezer, your refrigerator. They're dishwasher safe. Okay, Darcy, we'll see ya tomorrow maybe. Two bowls of that and salad and bread. I would be stuffed to the gills if I ate that much. Brenda has soup mugs that she's made that holds 14 ounces, so that's more than a cup. That's about a cup and a half. Linda freezes in 1 cup portions. I understand, Ruth. You know, if you're eating raw, this is definitely not a raw dish. But it's very unprocessed, let's put it that way. Yes, Linda, I think she eats primarily raw. So there you go, guys. There's my 3 sisters too. You watch me fumble along with the butternut squash, get seeds everywhere, make a mess, find more errors in my blog and my cookbook. What else? I am happy with that camera though. I think that's going to work out just fine. And I will definitely have this, when it's finished, in some of those big 32-ounce containers for leftovers. I might freeze some too. It does freeze well. So, Ruth, what does that mean? It's a game changer in the satiation department. Do you get more satiated with raw than you do with cooked because of all the bulk? Thank you, Brenda. I hope you enjoy it. Lisa's still eating a lot of raw food, and there are recipes that can be made in a dehydrator that are still considered raw. I think as long as they don't go over a certain temperature, right, Lisa? Above a certain temperature on the dehydrator, and they're no longer raw, they're cooked. I read about that once. So it is more filling if you eat raw. That's what I thought. It makes sense. They're bulkier. You haven't cooked all the water out of some of these veggies or whatever. The fiber and the water make up the bulk of a lot of our foods. So Brenda wants to try using her dehydrator more for cooking if she finds good recipes. You're welcome, Kay. I'm glad you enjoyed it. And we said last month we were going to do 3 of these this month. We'll see if we can do that. But I've got to learn the ins and outs of this camera before I do anything else other than show up tomorrow morning. I think it's going to be, as Ruth was saying, a game changer having this camera for a lot of reasons. So I get to clean up my mess I made in here and finish cooking my stew, put away all my dishes, and then I can play with my camera tonight. Or maybe it'll be tomorrow before I get to. Do you guys have anything else you want to ask me before we call it a night? Thanks for coming, by the way. I love seeing so many of you here. There are recipe bundles for raw cooking. Turn that down some more. So my next thing I gotta do in this office is figure out how to make that camera last longer without the battery dying, and get these lights situated so everything looks the same, whether it's this way or this way. If you guys don't have anything else, oh, Ruth was lucky the hubby was out of the house tonight. Nice. Thank you, Brenda. Thank you, Linda. I enjoyed it too. We'll do more. Like I said, I wasn't very organized tonight because I just got home with the camera. I thought I had enough time to drive all the way out to Tannisbourne, grab the camera, come home, and get everything set up. Of course, I don't know anything about it, so I was rushing and then get this ready at the same time. So yeah, I was pushing it. Probably a little too far, but we got it done. All right, guys. Thank you all for coming. I will see you tomorrow morning. All right. Have a good night, guys. We'll see ya. Ready for the couch. I got a long way to go before I get to the couch. Thank you, Kay. We'll see you guys. Thank you, Di. We'll see you tomorrow, maybe. Bye, Lisa.